what's my part in stopping it from blowing up? I guess the main thing, my main role is not to. My main role is not necessarily to prevent it, but I just don't want to cause it. You see what I mean? That's my
Okay.
is to be as benign as possible to the kid. But so the one thing is that I'm going to be walking around with this camera, sort of trying to detect methane emissions, right? And so actually, historically, people will have used these cameras to go and detect methane emissions to prevent, flammable atmospheres from occurring. Because if methane is leaking out, it's flammable. It could create like an explosive atmosphere. What we expect is for the emissions to be sort of pretty low, so it's not going to be really a sort of flammability explosion hazard. It's more going to be just a climate issue, if you see what I mean, because you need sort of so for something to be explosive, for methane, it has to be sort of relatively high concentrations in the air. And especially if you're on a ship, there's quite a lot of ventilation going on. So we think there's relatively low likelihood of that. But so, for example, I need to do some stuff to prevent me from causing an explosion. So one example is, let me just give me a sec.
Okay.
One example is the laptop I'm using is this big beast. Wow. If you can see how much of a beast this is. This is like an explosion-proof laptop. So so basically, if I use it in a flammable atmosphere, then it won't like cause a spark or anything like that. So all of the equipment I have to use has to be, we call it ATEX, which means it won't sort of cause a spark. So it has to be intrinsically safe. And I have to wear sort of flame-resistant clothing and stuff.
Okay, flame-resistant clothing.
Which doesn't instill me with a lot of confidence, but presumably this is just an extra measure.
I'm really hoping that's the truth.
And I have to say that in the ship that I'm going on, I mean, I'm sure this is the same with everybody, but they're extremely on it in terms of their safety management systems. It's been amazing to see. It's so impressive how on it they are, giving you all the. So I've already had like the inductions and I'm sure there's going to be lots more and stuff, and just sort of stipulating what I can and can't do at every stage. So that gives me a bit of confidence.